A return to the hallowed ground of motorsport takes the Nitro National Series back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the... My goodness, it's been a long weekend for us at the One-Up Racing Series, but we're back with some Nitro National Racing action for the Lilly 200 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. For 26 laps, it is race number 10 of the season, and alongside me in the booth for this race is Duke Ansack once again. So a lot of stuff going on at IMS this weekend. We got the Superstar Series gearing up for their Brickyard 400, and we got the Nitro National guys getting ready for their road course race. And we got a lot of big names starting up front. Is it possible to name a favorite here?
Well, I think that there might be a couple favorites. Of course, Ryan Caggiano starting in first place, Alex Vergette starting in second place, Nicky Martinez starting in third, where Marc Davey started last season after, when he was about to dominate that race. So we'll see. We got Kyle Corbett in fourth, Elijah Ironhouse in fifth. I'm just going through the order, and they are all people who could absolutely win this race. And even farther back, you've got more and more drivers who could win. So, it's going to be interesting because this track, when you spread, it's the start, really that makes a difference, because you don't have caution, so you don't have restarts. It's a road course after all. So, on that initial start of the race, going down into turn one, that's what's going to matter the most to these drivers. Everybody's going to be sending it down in there, seeing if they can't get the lead coming out of turn one, and we'll see what happens. What an excellent track we've got on tap today, and I cannot wait to see what these cars barreling down into turn one and see who ends up on the other side. Maybe flipped over. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be absolutely wild today.
Looking at the starting lineup now, you mentioned it, Ryan Caggiano gets his second consecutive pole position in his final season. He lines up on pole with Alex Vergette alongside him. Remember, Alex got his first win of the season back at Road Atlanta, another road course similar to this. Nicky Martinez, like you said, starts where Marc Davey did last year. Davey then managed to jump both the Motor Dash racing cars en route to victory. Now, can Martinez do the same? It's going to be interesting to find out. We got a lot of guys making big gains from the back to the front as well, so passing is quite difficult here, so strategy might be the name of the game here. We expect one pit stop in this race, and what are you going to do? Are you going to try and stay out longer, or are you going to try and jump into the pits at the first opportunity?
Well, typically I would say that you should try to wait as long as you can. Try to avoid being in the danger zone. However, without a caution here, able to come out, I'd say that you're going to want to be one of the first guys on the pit lane. You want to have those fresh tires as early as you can, because it's a long way around the track. So that lap of you having fresh tires, somebody else on old tires, it's going to make a huge difference today. So I'm going to be one of the first guys on the pit lane if I'm in this race. And of course, we'll see what I've got guys in this race. We'll see what they do. They might not agree with me. I'm of course not a crew chief, so we'll see how it is. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see which strategy comes out on top at the end of 20 some laps today.
So with that being said, the cars are lined up on the grid, and we're ready to bring you 26 laps of racing action from the Indianapolis Road Course. This is the One-Up Nitro National Series. The green flag is next. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss a second of what's to come. As the field rolls through the final turn, it leaves us in the hands of Ryan Caggiano, Alex Vergette, Nicky Martinez, and the rest of the 42-car field. The green flags are out. We're underway here at Indianapolis, and a lot of cars streaming out of the final corner now onto the front straightaway. We'll see how they fan out going into turn one. This is going to be the big moment right here. Here they go, going into turn one.
There's Elijah Ironhouse on the bottom, making some moves right there. The 81 as well on the bottom, but it's going to put Alex Vergette on the inside. In the next corner, we haven't seen what happened yet. We've got a lot of cars. There's three wide. It looks like Ryan Caggiano's gotten the lead ahead of the two-team Duke cars behind. It's the 3 and the 8, and they're coming through the little chicane right here, going under the backstretch. Man, oh man, what a start it was. And the 81 has taken the lead on the back straightaway from pole today here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Boy, what a beginning. What an electric start to this race.
And that's probably where a lot of the passing is going to take place, but don't count out a few more passes later on as the tires start to wear. As they head through the second chicane now, with Caggiano still holding the lead over Alex Vergepperub in the 3. Elijah Ironhouse, like you said, holding on the 3rd nicely, but it's going to be Ryan Caggiano, but it's more than likely going to lead the first lap here as they head back up onto the oval before immediately getting off it again for the final set of corners.
Yeah, so that was an amazing start from Elijah Ironhouse. He moved from 5th up to 3rd place, and Nicky Martinez, of course, I haven't seen exactly where Nicky has ended up, but look at this. Alex Vergepperub is coming to the bottom of the track right here, side by side with the leader. Not going to be enough to lead the first lap, but we'll see if there's a big move going into turn 1 right now from the 3 car, who's right there with him. Let's see what happens. He goes way low and slides into the corner. Man, oh man. That was an incredibly strange move going into the first turn for the 3 car, who ends up losing more time than gaining, and the 81 keeps the lead.
Yeah, you're going to see cars do that all race long, trying to fan out, trying to gain positions going into the first turn. That's going to be the best passing zone on the racetrack. But for the time being, it's Ryan Caggiano in his final season looking for his first win of the season. And he's got a pretty comfortable lead over Alex Vergepperub now, heading down the back straightaway, going into the next set of corners. And how about Elijah Ironhouse? Like you said, a great job starting 5th up to 3rd now. And this is a run that this team really needs. They're mired deep in the points hole. They're going to have a lot of work to do to gain ground in time for the playoffs, but this is a run this team desperately needed, and they're doing a pretty good job hanging on to it.
Absolutely, and it's just another one of those things where just not a lot of luck following this number 8 crew this season, and of course kind of leaning on the number 3 car and the teammate there, and Alex Vergepperub, who is one of the better drivers on the road courses that we've seen in this series. Of course, has a great reputation on this type of racetrack. So Elijah Ironhouse is leaning on that just a little bit here, running in 3rd place, which is absolutely respectable, even though we're early in this one. Looking really good. It has a big gap over Nicky Martinez, and here's side by side going into turn 1.
I will say, Ryan Caggiano has made it longer into this race than he did in last year's version, where he blew the engine on lap 3, crashed into the pit wall, and that was the end of his day right there. But he's holding the lead now here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. How about Glenn Mixon? He's had a pretty miserable season up to this point, only 1 top 10 so far, but he's running in 7th right now, holding off last week's winner, Autumn Koger, doing a very nice job in that Jeff Bolton Racing number 34.
Yeah, it's looking really good right there in 7th place, and yeah, just a solid run. And that's, sometimes as much as these teams like to win, you just need solid runs sometimes. The 34 is the perfect example of this, where it's like you said, it's been dismal for a long time, and it's not completely of their doing, and it's like a lot of bad luck involved, and there's this and there's that. So just a solid, complete day is really, really motivational for a lot of these race teams, and I think that the 34 is on that list of just somebody who needs a good day.
Right now we got a battle for 10th between Keon Daly and Alexa Lushon now, diving it off into the final few corners. You're going to see this quite often here. There's a lot of guys battling for a lot of positions on the racetrack now. We're going through the final set of corners once again here, and unless my eyes are deceiving me, I think we had a lead change that we haven't kept an eye on. Yes, there he goes! And we skipped ahead of it. Alex Vergepperub on the inside of Ryan Caggiano. Alex led that lap by the slimmest of margins, but now as Caggiano runs wide in the next set of corners, Alex takes the lead for the first time here.
Man, and that's a great move from the 3 car. Just must have had a really good run coming out of that final corner, and has absolutely taken the lead right there on the front straightaway, and was there for the first corner, and then just held true, and through that first section of this racetrack. It's a pretty technical section right there, and the 3 car came out on top after the 81 went wide. So we'll see if maybe the 8 car can do the same. Now that the script has been written, now that the playbook has been exposed to how to pass that 81, we'll see if anybody else is taking notes from the 3 car. However, new leader, Alex Verjeparub, and led that lap, about to lead this one, and we'll see how it plays out for the rest of this race.
Remember, Marc Davey took the lead from I believe it was Cale Teskar Jr. last year at this race 1 year ago, and he led the rest of the way. So can Alex Verjeparub duplicate that performance here today? We're about to find out, because as we complete lap number 4, Alex Verjeparub's lead over Ryan Caggiano, over a second already. That is very good news for the 3 and bad news for everybody else.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and you know, something interesting about this racetrack is it's not like an oval where, you know, you're lucky to get a couple tenths every in the corner or in one lap. You could lose in one corner at this track, and there's so many corners. You know, half second, a full second, and we just saw the 3 car go wide and probably lost 4 tenths or more on Ryan Caggiano in second place. So, you know, it's just going to be it's a game of no mistakes, and it's a game of trying to stay, you know, hit your marks, stay on your line, and don't give any windows of opportunity to those guys behind you, because if you do, they're going to take it.
You're going to see this Constantining effect as well when they get closer to each other in the corners and spread out again on the straights. You're going to see that quite a bit in these road races, especially so here at IMS. But as we come up onto the oval once again, very briefly, Ryan Caggiano trying to chase down Alex Verjeparub again, just to try and prevent what Marc Davey put on the rest of the field a year ago. Because Ryan Caggiano, he knows he wants a win in his last season, but with a lead like this, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah, and you know, everybody's rooting for it. You know, it's the final season. He deserves it. He deserves to get that, to get one final win and one celebrate. And of course, who knows? There could be multiple 3, 4, 5 wins in this season left with how that 81 car is running this year. But yeah, right now he's got to chase down that 3 car to be able to make it to victory lane. And we got a side-by-side battle here at the 19, the 34, racing battling through the first section of the track, and the 34 is forced to go wide right there and give up that position. Maybe the 04 as well. Let's see.
Patrick Smith, who just recently signed a deal to return to the Superstar Series next season with Monster Motorsports, a great and well-deserved for him. He's put together a very strong season, including a win at Decatur a few races ago on another road course. So Patrick Smith, a very good road course racer, as now we've got a bit of a train forming here. Elijah Ironhouse heading it, with Nicky Martinez, Kyle Corbett, and Dylan Young riding along right behind.
Oh, and he goes wide right there. Nicky Martinez had an opportunity, but then looked like she got a little bit loose right there. I'm not sure exactly what or how that happened, but Elijah Ironhouse is now given a little bit of breathing room to possibly gain and start trying to run down that 81 again, but he's fallen quite far behind. Usually what I say, especially at these road courses, if you see a guy with big train, the car is sitting right behind, that means they're holding everybody up. We're about to see Nicky Martinez making a move on that 8 car down the front straightaway. He's going to have to sneak in behind right there, but I have a feeling there's going to be a move down into turn 1. That's usually where we see it. No, not this time. Oh, yep, there it is. I spoke too soon. Nicky Martinez down to the bottom, and a great move on Elijah Ironhouse in the 8. It's going to be forced to go wide. Nicky Martinez gets through. The 66 is now to the bottom, and yeah, also gets, oh, maybe not, but man, oh man. So Elijah Ironhouse getting put through the ringer right now. I guess starting to, that great start he had really starting to unravel right now for the 8.
And we expect most people in this race to split this race in half, hit at about the halfway point, lap 13 to 14. So these tires are starting to fall off quite a bit. You're going to see a fall off of about 2 seconds here. As you see, Nicky Martinez has the fastest lap currently of a 1:31.94. It's a pretty good lap for the 25 out in clean air now, ahead of Elijah Ironhouse. Now she's going to try and chase down her teammate Caggiano, try and get second away. But as things stand right now, Alex Verjeparub still holds about a second's lead over Ryan Caggiano, so not quite the dominance we saw a year ago. But there's still plenty of time for that to happen, as now we look at to the 3 car of Alex Verjeparub. comes off the final corner, back onto the front straightaway, and we'll see what the gap is at the line, because I imagine it's gotten quite a bit bigger since we last checked in on it.
Yeah, so something interesting that I'm noticing about this right now is that, well, I thought that gap was going to stay in about a second. In fact, it's almost 3 seconds now. What I was starting to say was that after the with only a 1 second gap, a pit stop, an overcut or an undercut might be enough to gain the position there. But at 3 seconds, you're going to have to gain a little bit of time if you're that 81 car on the 3 car to be able to pull off an undercut or anything like that today. So we'll see. We'll see what that gap goes down to. But you know, if I'm Alex Verstappen, or especially if I'm Elijah Ironhouse, who's starting to fall off on old tires, I want to be one of the first ones on pit road. I want to fix that car. I want to get fresh tires on that thing. I want to go and pass some guys in the pit lane if I can. So that's going to be interesting to watch. We'll see who makes it to the pit lane first, and then how that shuffles up the order midway through this race.
We now look back to see where everybody else is running, but the 3-car Alex Verstappen, like you said, near 3 second lead over Ryan Caggiano. This is an incredible run, and we might now start to see that dominance we saw out of Marc Davey last year form this year once again. As we come off onto the front straightaway once again, we'll see what the lead is at the line this time. I fully expect it to grow again as Alex Verstappen just punches in fast lap after fast lap. You can see Ryan Caggiano off in the distance, and the distance, oh boy. Oh boy, that's gonna be a lot. That's gonna take a lot to make up.
Yep, yeah, it certainly will, and especially at the pace that this 3-car is running. So maybe I'm starting to think maybe not. Maybe if you're Alex Verstappen right here, who has also now gotten the fastest lap on old tires over the 81. So man, oh man, but this, I'll tell you what, I think that the 3-car should stay out now. This is a complete reversal of what I said just 1 lap ago, but if the 3-car stays out here so good on old tires, you know, then you're just limiting the opportunities for people to really, you know, get an advantage on you. So we'll see. I don't know. Strategy is going to be fascinating, but with a 4-second gap, you have a lot of breathing room to play with.
As Alex Verstappen now continues to extend his lead, we've got a lot of racing still to play for. We still got a lot of this race still to go, but at the rate Alex Verstappen is going, there's a lot of ground to make up. As now we look back at the battle for 8th between Glenn Mixon, Patrick Smith, Keon Daly, and it looks like Alexa Lushon's back there as well. Got 4 cars under a blanket right now for 8th. Mixon doing a good job holding on to that position, but at this point, maybe Patrick Smith's faster. We're going to find out in a moment, but so far so good for the 34. Like we said, needed a good day. He's having that so far, but he's going a bit wide off the final corner. That could have left Smith to get under him right here.
Yeah, Smith's going to have a good shot at it right here. Down the front straightaway, Davey's going to get, or that's the 34 is going to get off the corner right there with a good head of steam, and we'll see if there's any move into turn 1. The 66 made a move down into turn 1 underneath Elijah Ironhouse, is going to get that position and maybe bring the one in the 92 right behind, and also going to pass Elijah Ironhouse. It might be time for Elijah Ironhouse to maybe make a dramatic strategy play here in this race. Of course, there's 17 laps to go, 16 as they cross the line next time. I don't know if it's a great idea to pit here, but the 8-car is struggling at the end of this run.
Yeah, if you pit now, you're not going to make it to the end of the race. So it would be a 2-stop, which is basically a suicide mission at a track like this, where you want to spend as little time in there as you can get away with. But the problem for guys who are going to attempt an undercut is, what if you get fed back out in the traffic and can't take advantage of your outlap? If you're Alex Verstappen, you want as many people as possible pitting with you, so you can get that nice clean air once again on the nose of your car on the outlap, because that outlap is critical to a good day.
That's true, you know, and something that, you know, these crew chiefs are always thinking about, but it's not something that all the fans are always thinking about, is that when you come out of the pits as the leader going in, it's not always going to be just a a bunch of daisies out there. You know, you're going to have to deal with some other cars as you're in the pits and when you're coming out of the pits, and then you know, you're going to also have to deal with some cold tires on the way out. I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into the situation of having to make a green flag pit stop in this race. So yeah, I don't know. It's a fascinating thing to watch these guys race around this track, and to try to get into their minds and see what's going on in there, and what the strategy is going to be before it happens. It's been an interesting race so far, and I cannot believe how far ahead that 3 car has gotten after the 81 looked so strong so early.
And now we've got a battle for third on our hands between Martinez and Corbett in the 66 and 25 reverse order of which I mentioned them. But Martinez has also had a pretty rough season. Not on par with her teammates like Caggiano, Joshua Michaels, and Martinez is just having a bit of a rough go at it. And her teammates have wins this year. Michaels has 2. Keon Daly has 1. So Martinez looking to make equal ground a little bit. They dive off into the final few corners once again. Martinez really needs to step it up because, well, I wouldn't worry about it too much considering that Caggiano is leaving at the end of the season, so she might be safer there, but still, performance not quite where they want to be.
No, it isn't. And speaking of Caggiano, it looks like Caggiano is starting to possibly fall into the grasps of Nicky Martinez in the late run, or the late going of this run right here in second and third. There might be a battle brewing right there. Meanwhile, Alex Verstappen just continues to drive away with this one. He's sitting there 6.3 seconds ahead of second place at the line last time they crossed it. 10 seconds ahead of fifth place, and then 20 seconds ahead of 10th place. It's just an absolute monster run from the 3 car so far in this race.
As now Ryan Caggiano's lead 6.3 seconds. It's amazing what the lead can bring you at IMS. We've seen this last year with Marc Davey. Alex Verstappen's just doing the exact same thing. So we might not see a lead similar to Marc Davey's. I believe Marc Davey had a lead of 15 seconds by the end of this race. But we might get pretty close as we're closing in on pit stops as well. We're about 1 to 2, maybe 3 laps away from that happening as we're getting close, but not quite, as we're closing in on halfway.
Yeah, so we'll see who the first one is to pit. I don't know exactly how much, because we saw Alex Verstappen set the fastest lap on lap 7 of this race, I believe, or around then at least. And you know, that's well into the run. That's about halfway through the run. So you got your tires are hot, your tires are slick, they're old already at that point. So I don't know how much faster you're going to be on just one lap of the fresher tires. I don't believe it's going to be 7 seconds faster for the 81, unfortunately for that team. But we'll see, you know, because you're looking at, you know, in 4th place, you got the 66, might be able to make a pit stop before those guys, jump them. The 25 as well might be able to jump up into 2nd place with an undercut. And then even Elijah Ironhouse, depending on how much that tire fall off is, might be able to jump some of those guys. So we're going to see kind of in the middle part of this top 10 where everybody is able to kind of jump after some undercutting and some overcutting and some, you know, secretive pitting and you know, everything else involved. So this is going to be an entertaining couple of laps coming up here with the pit stops involved, and we'll see when Alex Verstappen pits, because that could determine when everybody else pits. I don't think anybody's going to want to do the same thing as this 3 car.
Looks like he's staying out for the time being as we take the halfway lap. Ryan Caggiano, about 7 seconds off the pace. It looks like he's going to try an undercut on Alex Verstappen, and it looks like Nicky Martinez is coming with him. Kyle Corbett stays on the racetrack. So, our first 2 takers on pit road, Caggiano and Martinez. This is going to be a very interesting battle to keep our eye on, as you see Alex race off into the distance. But Ryan Caggiano and Nicky Martinez, boy, have they've got an interesting strategy. Patrick Smith is also coming into the pits with them, and Glenn Mixon as well. It looks like they're the only ones on this lap that are going to try and make it.
All right. Well, they pitted as soon as that window opened, so we'll see. We'll see what kind of pit stops they have, how fast they're able to get out of the pits, and then we'll see how much time. I believe it was the last time they crossed the line. Alex Frechette-Beroub was about 7 seconds ahead of Ryan Caggiano, so keep that in mind, and we'll see as they come back and cycle all out. We'll see what the gap is between those two cars, and we'll compare it to that 7-second mark. And then we'll find out. So look at this. So they're going to come out into traffic here. It's going to be stuck behind that 54 car or next to him. He's going to get ahead. Wow, those new tires really working for the 81 right there. This is going to be very interesting because it's got a little bit of lap traffic to deal with, and that's not going to help the cause. And then we're going to have to see, of course, when everybody else pits. This is just the beginning of a little bit of a crazy part of this race in the pit cycle.
How about the run from James Ellison? This is Crossroads Racing's Nitro National Series debut. They started 32nd in this race. They just barely made it into the field through go-home qualifying. They're doing a pretty solid job, up in the top 35. Probably not where they want to be, but this is their first start in this series. You can't go wrong with making the race and having a decent outing. And Ellison right now is just holding his own in about 32nd place before the pit stop started. But here comes Alex Frechette-Beroub, who's already in his pit stall, and it looks like everybody else is coming with him.
Yeah, this could be interesting with Alex pitting farther ahead of everybody, though. So I don't actually foresee any issues with him exiting when people are entering. There he goes, exiting the pit stop, and we'll see where everybody else is on the track. Nobody has gone. There's Ryan Caggiano right there. And Alex Frechette-Beroub is incredibly far ahead of him at this point in the race. In fact, it looks like maybe some of these guys are going to come out racing with him, the 66. And then Elijah Ironhouse might be able to overlap the 25 car. So Ryan Caggiano remains in second place, then the 66 after that. And here's our leader, Alex Frechette-Beroub, who has survived the pit stops so far ahead of everybody else in the race.
Yeah, it looked like everybody who didn't pit on lap 13, they all came in at the end of lap 14. So, Alex Frechette-Beroub maintains his lead in this race ahead of Ryan Caggiano, Kyle Corbett third. And how about this? Remember last week at Martinsville, we had the Team Day Sprint cars. They were putting on quite a show for us. Wouldn't you love to see it again? They're about to do it again as Zachary DeLello and Cody Goforth race each other here at Indianapolis once again. Looks like, though, they're gonna run single file for the time being, so any hopes of a repeat of Martinsville are quickly going away. But still, it was nice to think about.
Yeah, doesn't it always work out that way? The guys that you want to see racing with each other always end up right with each other during the end of the day. The people had problems in the last race or races ago or this and that. So anyway, back to the main story here. Alex Frechette-Beroub is about to cross the line. So we're going to get a new timing marker. So he has crossed the line, and we're waiting on Ryan Caggiano here to get his interval to the leader, and it is 8.867. So the overcut was what prevailed today, and I think that we were able to kind of see that a little bit already, but it was about 2 seconds faster to pit on lap 14 than it was to pit on lap 13. So a good strategy call from this 3-car is compounding the difficulties for everybody else in this race who aren't able to have any control over who the winner of this race is because Alex Frechette-Beroub is so far ahead.
And the thing is, Ryan Caggiano was held up by traffic on his outlap, as we said earlier in the race. Alex Frechette-Beroub was not, so he was able to use those fresh tires to the fullest, and he's going to crank in a really fast lap now to try and take the fastest lap point from Nicky Martinez. I think he'll be able to do that easily on these fresh tires. But as things stand right now, Alex Frechette-Beroub has a 9-second lead over Ryan Caggiano, 13 over everyone else. This race, we're coming to 10 laps to go. I don't know, unless this 3 has some sort of serious issue, there might not be much stopping this 3-car from the second win of the season.
Yeah, well, that is my team you're talking about, so make sure you knock on wood after saying something like that. Hey, races are not over until they're over. And we have seen before in this series and the Truck Series and the Superstar Series that if you're not careful, you could lose the race on the last lap. We saw at a road course in the Truck Series just earlier this season, we had a situation where there was a last lap situation, last lap crashing with lappers that involved the leader, and of course it didn't impact the outcome, but boy, it was an exciting last lap with three trucks going for one. So we'll see. And the 81 has gained a little bit of time on the 3 in that last lap. So this thing definitely not over yet.
We're now making our way through lap 17. We've got 10 laps to go, and Ryan Caggiano's doing everything he can to try and gain ground as the whole field's separated by just over a minute. I don't think anybody's going to get lapped in this race unless someone has a big issue. But as things stand right... Oh, actually, look at that lead. It went down by 1.2 seconds on the last lap. Ryan Caggiano made some big inroads on that lap. He needs to keep doing that if he's going to have any hope of winning this race.
Well, if he's able to gain about a second a lap, he's got enough time. But, that is a big ask right now at this point in the race. But we'll see. This 81 is on rails right now. He's got no pressure from behind. The 66 is multiple seconds behind the 81 so far. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this time by Alex Vergeparub crossing the line right there, all by himself, no pressure. And here comes Ryan Caggiano out of the final corner, and he's going to cross the line. We'll see what the gap is. 8.27. So he lost time on that lap. Not what you wanted to do there. So Alex Vergeparub must have had a little bobble in that last time by to lose that much time. We'll see. We'll see if Ryan Caggiano is able to maybe capitalize on this lap and the ones that come. But it was not a consistent gain from the 81 car.
And the gap's now back up to 8.2. So you're right. Ryan Caggiano now, with 9 laps to go, has to gain about a second per lap if he's going to have hopes of winning this race. And if he doesn't do that on this lap, it might be game over. So he's got to really put the pedal to the metal right here to try and gain all that time back. If he does it, it'll be an incredible story and a great comeback. Probably the greatest of the season, but it's going to take a lot of effort to make it happen.
Yeah, well, it's there's nothing to lose right now for the 81. I mean, even with a big slip or a moment in the grass, as long as you don't spin out, you're keeping second place right here. You got enough of a gap to third place where you can kind of push this car to the limit a little bit here, and of course you don't want to eat up those tires and possibly lose the position that way, but it is worth going for it here. Whereas Alex Vergeparub, he might as well just back off and try to just manage that gap and manage this race here, because he's got this thing. He can smell the victory right now, so you don't push yourself off the track and lose it. And man, oh man, it's almost at 10 seconds now, the gap from first place to second place. So that hope is slowly dwindling for the 81 car.
That might have been the final nail in the coffin right there for Ryan Caggiano. The good news is he's got 6 seconds over third, so he's pretty comfortable in second. But man, would he have? This is going to be probably going to be the second race in a row. He started on pole and hasn't gone on the win. That's got to hurt for that 81 team. They had the speed, they just need a little bit of luck.
Yeah, and it's just the type of thing where in the beginning of this race, he was out front. He was enjoying that clean air, that fresh air from no other cars ahead of him, and then all of a sudden he got passed by the 3 car, started losing time, and then it's that was that for the 81 being in the lead so far in this race. So I don't know what happened. I mean, it was like the 3 car just all of a sudden launched out of a cannon after he got past that 81, who I guess was holding him up for a couple laps in the beginning. But yeah, it's Alex Vergeparub looking unstoppable at the moment. We'll see what the gap is as they cross the line.
We've got 7 laps to go now from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Brickyard, the famous yard of bricks they just crossed. As Alex Vergeparub has an incredibly fast lap under his belt. And the gap at the line, 10.4. This is getting really dire for Ryan Caggiano. At this point, he's going to have to gain more than 2 seconds a lap to try and catch the 83 car. And at this rate, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure, you know, and of course he's going to have to gain a ton of time on the 3, and then also he's going to have to find a spot on the track to pass, and we've only seen today that there's a select few places that you can make a pass. Turn 1, turn 2 and 3 maybe. You can make a pass, and then maybe right here you can make a pass at the end of the backstretch. But I don't know. It's not a lot of opportunity, so even if he's able to catch him, it might not be great. And we just caught a glimpse of the fastest lap. Alex Verstappen does hold the fastest lap in this race. So yeah, this is utter domination from that 3 car.
He could be on his way to maximum points as well. If he's already led the most laps, no one can stop him from getting that point. And if he can hold the fastest lap and win this race, it'll be a max of 53 points going his way. And after the penalty at Pensacola that set him back at the beginning of the season, that is going to be a welcome sign for this 3 team.
Yeah, you know, that's a big day for Alex Verstappen. Of course, these road courses, they're always seen as a big opportunity because Alex's background is just in this type of racing. He's so good at it. Yeah, so a day like this where you can capitalize on that excitement going into the weekend, that hope, that expectation that you have to go out there, to set the fastest lap, to lead the most laps, to pull away by more than 10 seconds over second place after not starting on the pole and not leading the first couple laps. It's just a great day. And then, of course, it's a lot of driver here at this track, but it's also the crew. You know, they executed. The crew chief made the right call as far as strategy goes on which lap you should pit on, and then the crew made a great pit stop, so he was able to get out of the pits in the same, if not a little bit faster than everybody else. And then you've also got a little bit of luck on your side where you didn't have to race anybody after you've gotten your fresh tires coming out of the pits. So there's all these factors going into it, and so far today, that 3 car has had every little bit of it on his side, and just taking advantage of every part of it.
Now we look at the battle for 4th going on between Elijah Ironhouse and Dylan Young. Young also got a call up to the Superstar Series just like Patrick Smith did. He'll drive for Finguy Saitomi Motorsports for Rookie of the Year in the Superstar Series next year, but he wants a win in the Nitro National Series before his tenure here is up, and no better place than Indianapolis. It's going to be a bit of a stretch for him to get to the lead, considering he's 20 seconds off it. But still, great run by Dylan Young, shows that the talent he's got, and he might have an opportunity to get around Ironhouse here as they come off the final corner, coming to 5 laps to go.
He's working on 4th place here on the inside of Elijah Ironhouse. And it looks like he's going to have a really good opportunity to go down in turn 1 on the inside of that 8 car, maybe make a move here. Oh, he gets way low and he slides a little bit, and let's see if the 8 car can keep a good run out of the corner. Not going to be enough. The 92 sneaks to the outside and then is going to drive way away. The 8 car went really wide right there through the corner and has lost the position. So down to 5th for Elijah Ironhouse. And again, this car has fallen off on old tires. You know, just a long run has hurt this 8 car today, and that's not the way you want to race in a race without any cautions. The long run is very, very important here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course.
Looking at this battle for 7th between Patrick Smith and last week's winner Autumn Koger. Very good run for both these guys. You're going to have a pretty good day in the points as well. They're about 28 seconds off the lead, but they're ahead of Keon Daly by about 2 seconds, and he's under pressure now from Alexa Lucian in the 50. So a lot of battles going on around this place, just not for the lead, because Alex Verstappen coming to 4 laps to go now has about an 11-second lead. We'll see what it is at the line.
Yeah, so that 11 seconds, it's only been growing, and the amount of time this 81 would have to gain each lap is absolutely incredible. So at this point, it would be, yeah, so now it's down, oh my gosh, 12 seconds, lost a whole second on that lap, and yeah, the 3 car would have to have some kind of major issue for the 81 to have a shot at catching and passing him in this race. So we'll see, because the caution can't come out, so that's not going to help. The 81 it would be very unlikely for him to gain the correct amount of time in so few laps at this point, so that option's out. 3 car could have an issue, blown engine. We've seen some blown engines this season. But if he's not pushing, then that might not happen. So the options are running out for the 81 car. It's gonna be tough for him to pull off the win here. But Alex Verjepperoub, once again, everything going right for this 3 car today.
Coming to 3 laps to go when they cross the line the next time. And Alex Verjepperoub looking for career win number 4 of this season. A very good effort for Alex in this 3 car. This is going to be a very good day for him, I imagine. Even if he's probably going to win this race unless something catastrophic happens. But we've seen catastrophic things happen to this 3 car this season. A penalty, of course, a few crashes along the way, but I'm not saying anything. But this 3 car.
Not gonna hold that wood.
Look at this. Look at the lead he's got. You can just barely see a little black speck behind him. That's Ryan Caggiano. So Alex is doing a very nice job. His lead's up to 13.5 seconds. This is approaching Marc Davey territory for dominance on a road course.
This is interesting because this car is really good on old tires. So, he was gaining a little bit each lap on the new tires. Once the run starts to kind of trickle down into this old, when all the tires are starting to get slick, the 3 car starts gaining a second a lap, a second and a half a lap, 2 seconds a lap on all the competitors, and that really has been what has opened up this gap so far in this race. It's that long run speed from the 3 car right now, and it's something that his teammate absolutely has been lacking. We've been following that story all day today because Elijah Ironhouse started 5th, moved up in 3rd place, was looking really great. Then the long run before the pit stop happened, he started to fall back on the old tires, so he would go into the pits, try to change something up. Didn't work. Now it's the long run again. He's back down to 5th place. Meanwhile, his teammate is out there beating the crap out of everybody with the old tires on the long run. So there's a little bit of a difference in maybe driving style, or a little bit of a difference in setup there between the two cars at Team Duke. But today the 3 car definitely is coming out on top.
Ryan Caggiano is now just doing everything he can to hold on to the 2nd place, and he's doing a good job of that. Oh my goodness, the gap's 15 seconds now. I lost my train of thought, but he's got a solid 7 seconds over this battle. Dylan Young has actually caught Kyle Corbett for 3rd.
Yeah.
So we can see this 92 get around the 66 in the final 1.5 laps here to take the win, or not the win, but 3rd place. This is going to be that's going to be a very good day.
Going for it right here.
Yeah, he's going for it already on the 66. It might not work out this go around, but definitely one of the faster cars on the track. Besides this 3 car is the 92 of Dylan Young, and there he goes.
Still side by side right here, but yeah, what a great run from Dylan Young. He was able to go up there past Elijah Ironhouse, and then he's working on this 66 car, and he is significantly faster than him. He just needs to find the right way around. We'll see if not on that lap, on this lap, it'll definitely be in turn 1, and we've got a bit of an issue for Ryan Soper. Had some damage on the front end, but that's of no concern at the moment because we got the 3 car probably going to be more than 16 seconds ahead, taking the white flag.
White flags in the air. We got 1 more lap to go from Indianapolis. And let's see what the gap is at the line, because you cannot see anybody behind Alex Verjepperoub. He has put on a thorough domination of this race. There you see that tiniest of black spots is Ryan Caggiano. And we'll see what the gap is at the line here. 15.8 seconds. Man. So Alex Verjepperoub is on a thorough domination of this race. He's got about 3/4 of a lap left to secure his 4th career win, which would tie him for Sam Donato for most all time.
Yeah, this has been an absolutely incredible run today for Alex Verjepperoub, and of course, this is just his style of track. He loves it on the road courses. His whole crew, like I was talking about earlier, just gets pumped up coming to the road courses, and these guys are absolutely cool. They know exactly what they need to do. Alex knows exactly what he needs in that car, and they set it up perfectly today. They executed a perfect strategy. They set up the car absolutely perfectly. They didn't qualify on the pole. They were very, very close to doing so, but they didn't do that, so they did lose one thing this weekend. However, coming into the final portion of this track, Alex Barube has done everything right so far in this race.
Going through the final few corners for the final time. No fuel concerns for this 3-car. And as he rounds the final corner for the final time, in front of a packed house here at the Brickyard, Alex Barube is going to get his 4th career win, tying him for the most all-time. The checkered flags are out, and Alex Barube takes the win in the Lilly 200 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ryan Caggiano quite a ways behind. Did everything he could to try and hold the lead. Didn't happen. He's going to come home in 2nd here today by quite some margin over Alex Barube. The final margin, 15.7 seconds. That's a big gap at the end. And Dylan Young did get around Cal Corbin at the end of that race. He'll come home 3rd ahead of him. And Elijah Ironhouse just barely holds on to the top 5 ahead of Nicky Martinez. Autumn Koger backing up her win at Martinsville with a 7th here. Keon Daly 8th. And Alexa Luchon got around Patrick Smith at the end for 9th, ahead of Glenn Mixon, Cody Goforth, and Zach Rogers, 13th in this race. But really, what can you say? Alex Barube put a thorough whooping on this field. No one else. He deserved to win this race, no doubt. That was such a fast car under him. He got the fastest lap. It's a max points day for Alex Barube. What a day at Indianapolis.
Yeah, and just absolutely unstoppable, that 3-car out front. Just nothing anybody could do, and that's that. I mean, just sometimes you get that in racing in this series, especially at road courses. You just get somebody that takes it to the field. They're going to have to get better to be able to beat him, and he just said that today to everybody. He's like, if you guys want to beat me at a road course, you're going to have to get better because I am just this good right now. So great job from that whole team. Fully executed and complete race from the 3-car and maximum points. What else can you say?
And I'm sure, and that is going to jump Alex at least 5 spots in the points. He is now solidly in the playoff picture right now. But if you think everything was pretty spread out here at Indianapolis, wait till you see what we got coming up next week. It's a return to where it all started in 2022, the Pensacola Super Speedway. We're back there next week for race number 11 of the One-Up Nitro National Series season, and Pensacola Super Speedway, a place where getting the car home in one piece is considered a victory. So, that being said, any favorites for next week you can think of?
Nope, none at all. There are no favorites at Pensacola.
Rightly so. So from Duke Anzac and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Their road course layout provided another great race for us here today. And a big congratulations to Alex Barube, who put a dominating performance together. He is your winner for the 4th time of his career. All-time record is equal. Sam Donato and Alex Barube, top of the table in the One-Up Nitro National Series.